So, you're on a plane, 30,000 feet in the air, basically trapped in a metal tube, and right next to you, a soundtrack you definitely didn't choose. It could be an action movie, a video game, a kid's show, and the sound is just blasting right into your personal space. It's one of the most frustrating situations in travel today. So what are you supposed to do?
Let's start with a real story. We're on a flight from San Francisco to New York, and Luca Dalzotto is just trying to settle in. But his seatmate? He's got other ideas. He flips open his laptop, turns the screen brightness all the way up, and starts watching John Wick 3. And as Luca described it, the sound was just booming. Can you imagine a 7-hour flight listening to every single gunshot from that movie?
This isn't just about Luca's bad luck. His experience is so common it's been given a name: the John Wick problem. It's that exact moment your personal space gets invaded, not by an elbow in your ribs, but by sound.
And what happened to Luca? Yeah, it's not a one-off thing. We're talking about a full-on epidemic of noise on planes. Etiquette experts say they're getting flooded with what they call etiquette crime reports. And guess what most of them are about? Yep, personal gadgets.
Just look at this number. According to survey data, complaints about electronic annoyances on flights have shot up by 47% since 2020 alone. That is a huge jump, and it really shows you how much this is getting on everyone's nerves. So what's driving everybody so crazy? Well, it turns out the #1 offender, by a mile, is cheap, leaky headphones. 62% of travelers say that is the biggest annoyance, that tinny, inescapable sound that bleeds out for everyone around to hear. After that, you've got super bright screens and noisy electronic toys.
And the reason for all this seems pretty obvious when you think about it. As airlines got rid of the screens on the back of seats, they started pushing us to bring your own device. The unintended side effect of that is this total symphony of chaos. Movie soundtracks, game notifications, app noises. The friendly skies have gotten incredibly loud.
But here's the good news. You are not powerless in this situation. There are smart ways to get your peace and quiet back without starting a fight at 30,000 feet. It really just comes down to knowing the right moves to make.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You're annoyed, you're stuck, and you just want the noise to stop. But what's the move that's actually going to work? Because lashing out might feel good for a second, but trust me, it can backfire in a big way. All right, here's the approach experts recommend. First, stay calm. A lot of the time, people are just clueless, not malicious. Second, read the cabin. Find a quiet, polite moment to say something. Timing makes all the difference. And if that doesn't work, your final step is to bring in a higher authority. But here's a pro tip. Instead of hitting the call button, which puts everyone on the spot, it's way better to quietly walk back to the galley and ask a flight attendant for help. Let's go back to Luca and his John Wick-loving neighbor. So what did he do? Instead of getting angry, Luca just calmly offered the guy his own spare pair of headphones. And you know what? The man was grateful. The noise stopped, and the rest of the flight was peaceful. A total win. But what happens when things don't go quite so smoothly? Now, let's look at a completely different story. This one comes from a true expert, someone whose entire job is resolving conflicts, and it's about a time he fully admits he got it all wrong.
This is Christopher Elliott. If you've got a problem with a company, this is the guy you want on your side. He's a master at negotiation and keeping things cool, which makes what he did next so fascinating.
Okay, picture this, a flight from Dublin. Right behind him, there's a toddler watching Bob the Builder at full blast with no headphones. We've all heard that theme song, and for many people, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
And this is where it all started to go sideways. You can just feel Elliott's frustration building. First, he gives the child a disapproving look. Nothing happens. So he escalates to giving the mother the evil eye. Still nothing. He can feel his blood pressure just climbing. And finally, he just snaps. He whips around in his seat and makes a really snippy, passive-aggressive request for her to find some headphones for her kid.
So he got his confrontation. The silence he was so desperate for was hanging in the balance. But what does winning actually look like in a situation like this?
The mother did what he asked. The child put on headphones. He got the silence he wanted. So on paper, it looks like a win, right? But was it?
And here's the twist. The result? Yes, it was silence. But the cost was this deep, personal feeling of shame. He let his frustration win, and to get what he wanted, he had to act in a way that went against his own values of being civil and respectful.
Elliott himself said it perfectly. I was ashamed of my behavior. He knew in that instant that he'd handled it all wrong. He recognized that in these tight, tense spaces, it is so easy to overheat. He had become the very person he helps other people deal with, an angry, confrontational passenger.
And this is really the most important lesson here. The actual goal isn't just to make the noise stop. It's to get through a difficult moment in a way that allows you to keep your respect. For the other person, sure, but also for yourself. It's about walking away feeling good about how you handled it, no matter what happened.
Sure, getting a quiet flight is nice, but getting there with your own sense of calm and self-respect, that is the real win. It's a huge lesson, and it's brought to us by consumer advocate Christopher Elliott, who was honest enough to share his own mistake with all of us. And it leaves us with a question to think about. In our hurry to win all these little battles, what part of ourselves are we willing to give up?